Brooke Goldstein, thank you so much for being here.
כיף להיות פה, תודה רבה.
Wow, you speak Hebrew.
That's all I know.
Okay, so I want to know everything. You are fighting anti-Semitism. How it all started?
It all started here in Israel. When I was 24 years old, I ended up producing a documentary film called The Making of a Martyr. Traveled at great personal risk to Jenin, Ramallah, Tulkarm, and Nablus, and I secured first-hand interviews with leaders of designated terrorist organizations like Hamas, Islamic Jihad, the Al-Aqsa Martyr Brigades. I went into Israeli prisons. I interviewed children who were arrested for attempting to blow themselves up. I went into schools run by groups like Islamic Jihad, and I saw firsthand how they indoctrinate children to violence and recruit them for suicide, homicide, terror attacks, and I ended up releasing this documentary film. So in 2010, I formed the Lawfare Project, which is the world's foremost Jewish civil rights litigation fund and public interest law firm. We have a network of over 800 lawyers and 36 major international law firms. We have filed over 80 cases in the last 7 years, and we have donated millions of dollars to Jewish communities in terms of pro-Israel representation around the world. And so that is what I do. We file lawsuits on behalf of Jewish communities to enforce their civil rights and ensure that they get equal protection under the law.
So the American argument on the First Amendment about the freedom of speech, how can we convince people, American people, that this is not part of free speech? It's a call for terrorism.
It's not about free speech. This is not a free speech issue. The free speech argument is a ruse, right? It's not like someone like Mohammed Khalil is standing on a corner holding a sign that says, I love Hamas. These people are being arrested because of their conduct, because of their actions. And if you are some sort of spokesperson for terror, it does not immunize you from the liability of your conduct. For far too long, this has been described as a Jewish problem. This is not a Jewish problem. The infiltration of the United States, of our campuses, of our streets, with potentially groups that are potentially connected to foreign designated terrorist groups that are carrying out activities allegedly in coordination with them, is a national security threat of the highest order.
Can you please tell me about an interesting lawsuit that you will never forget?
So we have several, not just interesting, but very groundbreaking lawsuits that we're involved in right now. We are suing Columbia University on behalf of a student who was discriminated and retaliated against. She was living through the pro-Hamas encampments. She felt physically unsafe. She was denied accommodations. She was told she was not allowed to take classes over Zoom, even though she was physically unsafe on campus, and she was retaliated against. We're also suing Carnegie Mellon University, which happens to be the third largest recipient of funds from Qatar. Carnegie Mellon University has received over, or at least what's been reported, at least over $800 million from Qatar. What is the school doing with that money? What is the relationship between those oversized grants and an approximate 300% increase in anti-Semitic and anti-American activity on the campuses that receive foreign funding from Qatar?
What message would you like to convey to the Israeli people and the Jews in the United States?
The message that I want to convey, first and foremost, is the need for unity. Our enemies see when we are divided and see that we are weak. And there is no issue that is important enough to divide our community. We cannot afford to be fighting amongst ourselves based on legal reforms or, politicians that you're going to vote for. We have to be very, very careful not to politicize anti-Semitism. And to my colleagues and friends and to the Jewish community in the United States, I think the most important message is do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to stand up for yourself. There is more to be afraid, especially if you're a student on campus, of doing nothing than there is to retaining an attorney and ensuring and demanding your day in court. So these are the two most important messages: unity and absence of fear, Jewish empowerment.
Brooke Goldstein, thank you so much for this interview. Much appreciated.
Thank you for having me.